Well, hi guys. As always, I hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. For those of you who are watching this in the app, you are the only ones who are able to watch this. I'm here together with
Kelsey from 7-4 Gear.
Exactly. So if you're watching this, you're actually being let in on a little secret. So Kelsey just happened to have his roads by Catalonia from Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anchorage. I flew from Anchorage.
As you do, you know, sometimes you know your roads will cross in unsuspected places. So here we are drinking coffee, talking aviation, and we thought maybe it's a good idea to take some questions from you guys. So as always, guys, in order to ask questions, you're going to need to be a premium member in the app, and feel free to fire away your questions. I mean, now you have a 747 pilot here that will be able to answer all of those questions, and me, poor 737 pilot, who will answer the rest. So let's see who's here. Penny, good to see you here. Great to see that you could join all the way from Australia. And is he real? Are you real?
I'm not real. Penny follows me too. Hey, Penny, I'm real. Yeah, I'm a real guy.
Yeah, it's definitely real. Yeah, absolutely. Error on the YouTube player. Well, I don't think so. It seems like people can see this. Yeah, so basically we've been hanging out for the day, talking about different subjects that I'm hoping that you'll all enjoy at one point or another. Now, you're not allowed to tell anyone about this, obviously, because we're being very secretive about this collaboration. But I'm really pleased to have you here.
No, it's been really cool. I actually wrote Peter over a year ago, I think.
Yeah.
Probably like, let's do a video together, and it just now it's finally came together. Where I was like, I was coming to Barcelona anyways. I let my Instagram followers pick a place for me to go in the world, and it ended up originally working out to end up to be Barcelona. I told Peter I'm going to be in Barcelona. Let's do the video, and so here we are.
So here we are, and it's exclusive for you guys in the app now, which is just another reason that you guys should be downloading the app, okay? Because I'm hoping that Kelsey, maybe when you have some time over, when you're chilling, you go in and say hello in the chat maybe once in a while.
Answer some questions, see what you guys are up to.
Of course, now since you're live, you can't say no.
I can't say no to that. Way to put me under the gun.
This
is what check airmen do. That the type rating instructors, they want to put you under pressure and see how you react.
Yeah, and that's in my blood. So there's kind of no way to get away from that. So this is going to be an awesome collab.
I think it's going to be really cool. Yeah, we just recorded it just a little bit ago, and are we talking about what it is?
No.
So we're not talking about what it is. So you're just going to have your notifications on, so when it comes out, you can comment.
Yeah, it will be on both channels, but it's going to be different videos. All right. So you're going to have to go and visit his channel in order to see my part of it, and vice versa. So I think it will obviously be awesome because.
It's us. I mean, how could it not be awesome when you have these two?
Yeah. Now, guys, you have a chance now because we have about 20 minutes, not more than that, because I have to get Kelsey to the train.
Yeah.
The train to go down to Barcelona because you're flying back tomorrow, aren't you?
Back tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have a limited amount of time where we can hang out with you guys and answer your questions. So feel free to fire away. Amadeus Lex thinks it's cool. Well, that's good stuff. So here's one for you. Does the Dreamlifter handle any differently than the 747-8?
So the Dreamlifter is actually a 747-400. So that would be the closest comparison. And they are very similar in a lot of ways. I would say the Dreamlifter, the main difference you'll have is that it rumbles a lot more. It's not as streamlined as a typical 747-400. So, but it handles very similar. There's a few differences in things that we do, but it's pretty similar.
It's also more dreamy.
It's more dreamy.
Yeah. That's like all 747s are. So amazing. Love both of your channels. Exactly. And that's why you should all watch both of our channels, because we will be doing awesome stuff, but just slightly differently. All right. This is why, and this, by the way, is why I love the chance to be able to collaborate with Kelsey, because I think that there's probably a lot of people on my channel, maybe even on this app, who hasn't watched his YouTube channel. If you haven't, then you really should do, right? You should go over there, and you should also tell him that you're coming from this, so that he knows.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be cool to get an idea of the guys who have been watching Peter and part of Mentor Pilot and part of his app, let me know when you come over there, so I kind of have an idea of how many new people are coming over, because we'll be talking about it for sure.
No, yeah, and if it just turns out to be a gigantic hit, which we're all hoping, then we will do more collaborations. Maybe we'll find ourselves a simulator.
We were actually just talking about a second video, depending on how your responses to that. So we'll see.
Yeah. So hashtag 74 gear and Mentour simulator.
Hashtag we want more. Yeah.
Hashtag we want more. You see, that's more. Mine was a bit of a mouthful, actually. So yeah, nice surprise from Sunnis88. What is your opinion on Airbus? Would you like to fly one someday? I would.
Yeah, I don't have any problem flying an Airbus.
No, I would love to try it. It's a different philosophy.
Yeah.
And I think once you've been flying Boeing for a few years, it would be nice to try something different.
And I've had friends go from flying Boeing to Airbus, and obviously it's very different in how it works. But yeah, it's very different in how it works. But that they've said that they've really enjoyed it, and so yeah, I would like to try it. I mean, the one thing that Airbus really did a good job on is their overall layout design on the flight deck.
Oh yeah,
very spacious, especially if you're coming from a 737 where it's kind of packed in there. It's very spacious design. So
yeah, 737 is, you need to be a contortionist to get in.
Yeah.
And I was saying that on a live stream, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, where that I don't understand when you get up a bit in age. I mean, I'm 38,
right?
And when you're like 60, if you're going to get in there with a cup of coffee, like you have to bend yourself under your knee to get in. It's crazy cramped, and it's because it's 60s technology.
Right.
It was built in the 60s. It looks the same. The Max looks exactly the same. But while the Airbus, you can kind of go in and walk around the chair and put your bag down.
Yeah.
Like that's the way that ergonomically should work.
Yeah.
So Kelsey, how often do you fly passengers and how often do you fly cargo?
I would say it's about 90 to 95% of the time I'm flying cargo. If you follow my Instagram stories, usually I'll post up when I'm flying passengers because it's kind of a unique thing. But yeah, the majority of the time is flying cargo. And the other thing is when I'm flying passengers, there's because of the nature of who we're flying, I can't really talk about it very much. So that's the other reason why you don't hear me talk a lot about.
And another reason to follow his Instagram, obviously.
I can't talk about it too much.
But you can post pictures of it.
I do post pictures and I do stories, but the people who I'm flying are usually not in the story.
Exactly. So Bono is not there naked in the back like you would expect.
Like you would hope to see.
Like you would hope
it's
to
not
see.
that exciting.
No. So we want more. We've got about 1,000 comments saying here. Unfortunately, I have to go to the cinema now. I rewatched it later. Unfortunately, you can't rewatch this later because I'm not going to upload this because we want this to be a little secret from when we actually release the collab later on. So sorry about that, man. I'll see what I can do for you personally since you're one of the admins. Do you think Boeing should completely revamp the 737 for the next generation rather than just putting lipstick on the pig as we have on the NG now and the Max? So I wouldn't put it that way. It's a nice pig. Doesn't need lipstick. What's your opinion on it?
It's tough because I mean it's tough when you have the most successful selling aircraft. It's very hard to take that and revamp it from scratch. It's obviously a very expensive venture, and you already have a lot of pilots that are very comfortable with that. So for an airline's perspective, when they're looking at it, if they're going to redesign the entire cockpit, that means they have to change and train all of those pilots and get all of those pilots enough training to fly that new aircraft. And I think that's why, like, for example, the 747, when they came out with the Dash 8, they made it enough changes that it was to the limit of where the airlines could not get a new type rating, a new amount of training, because it's very expensive for them to do that.
Absolutely. But having said that, and I agree with every single point Kelsey just made, having said that, I think that the 737 line is probably at the edge of what it can do.
Yeah.
I'll be very surprised if they can squeeze anything more out of that.
I think they've hit that as far as it's going to go.
Yeah, so I think that we will see the Max being the last 737 ever built.
I don't think you can't.
No.
It's all the way to the end as far as for I've never flown the Max, but it's from what I've heard, like the rotation speed and a lot of the things, it's to the limit of what you can do. So,
yeah. So the 737 Max, I think, it will be very, especially after this disaster, the PR disaster that this has been, very hard to see that could be another iteration of it. But then again, you never know. I would hope that they will come with something new because it would be cool. Are you both going to collaborate on the funding campaign? I haven't asked Kelsey that. I've told him about what we're doing. We'll see, depending on what he thinks about it. I mean, I'm gonna try to reach as much people as possible that want to become pilots, that have a problem finding funding. And part of that is going to be to reach out to other successful YouTubers like Kelsey, and like, I'm just scared to shit out of my dogs, like flight shops, and so on. But we'll see. Hopefully, I mean, we're up to almost 5,000 people who are signed up to the newsletter now, which is a great start. All right, I'm hoping to double that before we go to the banks and start negotiating with them. But we'll see what happens. Kelsey, when will you follow me back on Instagram? Penny asks. Yeah, when will you follow her back on Instagram?
I'll have to get on there and start following people back. I'm really bad about following people. It's hard for me to answer everybody, and I don't know. I'm not good about following.
No, but that's the thing. You know, I think I follow like 300 people, and most of them are my friends. That tends to be the way, because if we start doing like follow to follow, and like I have 122,000. And you have
and I'm like way past that. I'm like, no. I got like 16 or 17,000. I don't have that many, but
no, but it's enough. If you want to do a follow to follow with 16,000 people, you're going to be doing only that for the rest of your life. So we tend to, at least I tend to, just follow my friends and family, and what I'm really, really interested in. But I do try to interact. You would have noticed that I don't do DMs, like direct messaging. It's just too much. I can't follow it, and I'm not going to be answering one and not the other. So that's why I have this app, you know, so that you guys can ask questions here and I can answer it directly. Otherwise I'll get arthritis in my thumbs.
It's hard with all those. We get a lot of messages like every day, 20, 30, 40. So imagine if you got home and had 40 emails to reply to every day. It gets overwhelming.
It gets a lot. Peter, does the program you're trying to create accessible for all nationalities? Eventually, hopefully it will. I mean, we're going to have to roll it out in different countries. It's most likely going to start off in Europe, maybe the US. But we're still talking, because it's huge legislative problems with talking to banks and stuff in different countries. I mean, me borrowing, as a bank borrowing money to you in France is going to be completely different to if you're going to do the same in Afghanistan, or if you want to do the same in China. So no, we'll not be able to launch it and say that everyone can come here. It's going to be on an individual basis, but our aim is to try to reach this, you know, out to the regions where it's needed. Good morning from Colorado. Did I miss what your collab will be about? No, you did not miss that figure, because we're not telling you. You're gonna have to find that out yourself. School prices here are ridiculous in the US, but I think they're still cheaper than in Europe.
Are they? Are they cheaper in Europe than the US?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, really?
No. They're cheaper in the US.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they have gone up. I mean, I talking to a friend of mine. I mean, it's getting expensive to go to flight school, but it's an expensive thing to get into. There's really no other way around it.
Yeah, this is, I mean, I don't have a magic wand. I won't be able to change the pricing. And this is also important, and I've been pushing that. I'm not going to be giving away flight training. That's very important for you to understand. What we're trying to achieve is to make sure that you guys who are, you know, who have all the aptitude and the ability and the attitudes to become good pilots, that you will have access to funding. That means have access to bank loans to do it. It's not going to be free for free, and you're also going to have to pay a bit of money to get into this. Like there will never be a bank who will loan you 100% of the sum, but maybe 90% of the sum, and that's what I'm aiming for, so that all the girls out there who now think that they are unable to become pilots, who doesn't even think about it, you guys should be thinking about it. All of the people who don't have rich parents, who maybe, you know, would love to do this, put all the effort and heart into it, but can't because no one will give you any access to funding.
Yeah, I mean, I know for me, like, I ended up having to save all my money. I was working 2 jobs and saving money in order to pay for flight school, because in the US, it was really hard to get a loan for flight school unless you went through a very specific program. So
that's the thing.
It's definitely an issue.
Yeah. Thank you both for this collaboration. Great idea. Yeah, I know. This is it. So, does this mean that Kelsey will hang out in the app from now on?
You see what he's doing to me here? Under the gun. I mean, I'll try. So here's the thing. Making videos and flying and doing everything, it's been hard for me. And me and Peter have talked a little bit via email about me getting in there and doing more of it. So for 2020, for next year, it's my goal to spend a lot more time in growing my YouTube channel. So it's my hope that I'm going to be able to carve out some time to do things like that. But it's
very political answer.
Yeah,
you just needed a yes or no, really.
Oh yeah, well, it's a very round maybe, and I'm going to do my best to see what we can do.
That's the thing, we all try to. I try to get cool people like Kelsey in all the time. And I think that from time to time, if he has some time over, he might be able to pop in, or he doesn't have time, and then we just have to respect that. But I mean, I created this platform, so it's my baby. I will take care of it. But if we can get people like Kelsey in, that will make it cooler. That's true. Wink, wink.
Wink, 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 nudge, nudge. I hate making promises I can't keep.
Good. So, hey guys, when are you gonna do a movie review together?
We haven't talked about that.
That we haven't talked about. No, that could be cool. That would be us laughing a lot, I think.
Yeah.
The thing is though that the geographical difference between Texas and Barcelona is an issue.
Yeah.
Like it is. Like the fact that we're sitting in the same room now, it doesn't happen very often.
Not only that, it's schedules as well. That he's going to have time off. That I'm going to have time off. That I have to get a flight. Like I actually made a video which is going to come out this weekend about getting the flight because I ended up finishing my trip in Alaska. I ended up getting on a flight from Alaska to New York to Barcelona, and then getting a train up here, and all of those things to work together that we have the same time off and we can do all that.
Yeah, so largely this collaboration is down to the tenacity of Kelsey.
Yeah.
Because I have been literally sitting on my ass here. I did go and get him from the train station.
You did.
That I did.
I did fly like 7,000 miles to get here, but he did drive about 20 to pick me up.
That I did. So, and I didn't even get a thank you.
Oh yeah,
for that.
No, thank you. Yeah. I mean, thank you when he drops me off.
I'm moving in. Exactly. What he didn't tell you is I have to drop him off in Texas. Let's see. Get the app, Kelsey. We want more. Hashtag we want more. We might get that trending.
Yeah. See.
Yeah. So we want that in on like Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. We want to own the we want more. There might be someone else who've used that before. So if they do movie reviews together, Kelsey will throw in Home Alone 2 and Top Gun references in every few minutes of the video. Will you?
I do throw in Top Gun. Have I used Home Alone? I don't know that I've used.
I don't know. Do you have any quotes for Home Alone?
I don't know that I've used Home Alone, but I've used some Top Gun references for sure. But how could you not put those references in some of my clips?
Of course not.
Yeah,
it's impossible. Top Gun is what we lived and breathed on when we were younger. The only Home Alone I can think of is like Kevin.
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah,
but nothing else. So Skype movie review coming up. That could be done. Skype, but it's not as fun though.
Yeah, it's not.
You don't get this kind of So let's see here. If we have any more questions, you better take it now because I have to go and drop him off soon. So I've just canceled a meeting for this, guys.
Nice. Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate that.
That's what you do. 2 of my favorite pilots ever. That's also nice.
That's pretty cool.
This is also why I love this community. I love the YouTube community and the Instagram community as well. But the app is special. Like there's always this positive, constructive feedback. You never see anything negative. Which
we put a lot of work into making these videos and doing these things so we can give you all a peek inside our world of aviation, so we can share with you something that we're really passionate about. So it's pretty cool that you have this ability to connect, because when I was going through flight school, and I know when you were going to flight school, there was nobody. If you didn't have somebody that worked in aviation, you didn't have anybody to talk to.
No.
So you didn't have someone to ask a question.
I think around about that time they opened up Peep Room. Pilot private.
Yeah, but there's a lot of negative stuff.
That's the thing. That's what I found that to be like a cesspool of, like, you went in there and you said, I want to work for Delta Airlines, and then you would have like 15 messages saying they suck, and then the reason why everything in the world sucks. And that's exactly that's really the reason I started the channel, to be honest, because I felt like that no matter what you do, if you go out and ask a question, you're going to be inundated. Either people are going to tell you that you're too young, that you don't know anything, you shouldn't be asking that question, or they will say all of the reasons why what you're doing is wrong.
Right.
Which is not, I mean, we're the opposite of that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, actually, that's what I put in that video. I said it was like an episode of Mean Girls.
Yeah.
You ever see Mean Girls, where they're just like beating you down no matter what you say? They're just like, that's a stupid thing.
Yeah.
That's unfortunately, that's what a lot of those, because people can through their keyboard be keyboard commandos and say all the negative things. But the reality is that if I didn't like being a pilot, if you didn't like being a pilot, we could go get another job. But we really enjoy it. So.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing is that I found that those online that those forums really were populated by people who didn't have really a life and who were really frustrated with what they were doing, so they needed a place to vent. So they went there and they vented all of their frustrations on an online forum, because the people who were really happy with what they were doing, they weren't hanging out on forums.
Yeah,
they were out with their families and their friends.
I almost never go on forums unless somebody specifically sends me a link. There's nothing in there because that exact reason. There's no constructive thing like what Peter set up here.
No. So we have some questions here that I've missed. So do you think that the Airbus 380F project was created in real life? Is it a success if it was created?
I talked about that in a video, actually. I talked about that a little bit, and if the 747 was dying and getting replaced by the 380. So I know that they wanted to make it, and there was a lot of attempts that were made by Airbus. I mean, to what extent, I don't know, but they did try to make it a freighter. It just wasn't viable because the structure of the floor had to be there. So then they tried to put an elevator in, which added a bunch of weight, and then that didn't work. And then they tried to get a loader that would go up to the second floor, and that didn't work. So
no, and it was
just not a viable system, where the 747 was designed for freight. So it's just a great system, the nose loader and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I did a video about this as well, the Why Are the Giants Failing episode. And I mean, the 747, as amazing of a passenger freighter it is, was made during the time when everyone thought that it was going to be supersonic flight, but passenger flight was going to be supersonic, and that's why the 747 was hastily made into a possible freighter. So okay, so if people are not going to travel with this, well, cargo is going to go subsonic. So let's make sure that the 747 can do that in the new era of supersonic flight, which never appeared, obviously.
Right.
The 380 was built as a passenger aircraft that then would have to be remade into freighter. And it just doesn't, it's not only that, it's not only the fact that it can't be, like, you don't have to deal with the freight, it has to do with the maximum takeoff weight limitations, and there's other issues with it as well.
Yeah.
It's not, it just wasn't really made for that.
And you look at the 747 with the nose loader, with that nose being able to go up, that's not something, because our flight deck actually sits a lot higher than the 380. So we're able to just load and put something weird shaped into the nose. There's no other plane that does that.
No, very cool. Okay, so this is so cool. I can't believe I'm late and almost missed it. Yeah, that's why you have to have your app ready and open all the time. So Peter, I just wanted to leave this note. Flying used to be my biggest fear, so I started searching YouTube for everything that works on aircraft. My family travels a lot. Now I'm a complete av geek, and I can't wait to get my next flight. Thank you so much for all your content. You're awesome.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Those types of comments really, for both me and him, are really what motivate us to keep going, because it's a lot of work that we put in to do this, and that type of positive feedback is really makes us feel great.
It does. It's true. People are asking if we're the same age. How old are you?
38. Yeah,
38. Yeah, we're born in 81.
Yeah.
The best year for YouTubers. So how long has the 747 got until it's no longer flying global?
So, well, I mean, it's always, if it's flying, it's going to be flying global, because they're not going to use that as a short haul. And they're still making the 747-8 as a freighter. So that's still being made. It's not being made a lot, but they're still turning them out. So it's going to be going for a while, because that's an expensive aircraft. If you're going to buy that plane, you're going to be running it for a while. So
absolutely.
If you still want to fly the 747, it's just going to be with cargo, not 20 flight attendants. So
yeah, which is a step down, but it's still cool. Right. So Kelsey, being 747, did you have any issue navigating in any airport? If yes, which airport?
No, I mean, because I go to airports all over the place, so it's honestly where I feel very comfortable. And any airport I get into, they're all very different, but they have some similarities, and so I don't ever have a problem. I mean, I guess you don't go to a lot of different airports as far as the terminal side. So yeah, I don't really have any problems.
The thing is, like, airports are built to be navigated by pilots.
Right.
They're supposed to be fairly easy to navigate. Now, they become more complex as they get more runways and more taxiways and things, but they always have a logic to how the taxiways are being built. So once we land, first of all, we would have briefed how we're going to get to the terminal even before we land. So I guess you guys do the same.
And on the freighter side, we're all usually, I don't know if he was talking about the actual terminal or the ground operations, but
ground operations, I'm guessing.
For ground operations, yeah. And luckily on the freighter side, it's even better, because on the terminal, you have so many different wings. On the freight side, so we do passengers and freight. When we do freight, we all go to kind of one side. Usually there's one or two at the most. Like Chicago's got two, but we go to one side. So we know, okay, we're going to this area, and then that's it. So
Yeah.
it's easier actually on freight than it is passengers in that sense.
Cool. So, Kelsey, how long have you been flying for?
I don't know.
That's always
Oh,
that's a good indication of seniority.
yeah. Now I gotta do math in public. I don't know.
And quickly.
I don't know. Let me do the math, and we'll come back to
We're
that.
going to come back to that. So, Kelsey, I'm guessing that UPS and FedEx, then the FedExes of the world are going to need more large aircraft. I'm also guessing that fuel costs may be inhibiting the 747. Have you heard any talk about another engine upgrade for the 747?
Well, on the 747-8, it has very similar engines to what's on the 787. So that's a very, very fuel efficient aircraft for the payload capacity that it can take. So UPS, for example, I think they're getting 1 or 2 new ones of those every month. So as the 400s, as the 747-400 retires, those -8s will be hitting the line.
So what do you guys use to edit your videos? Any differences in your processes? We both use
Final Cut Pro.
Final Cut Pro, yeah. Probably very different in how we do it.
Yeah, it was funny. That was one of the first things that we were talking about. Like, who do you edit? Oh, Final Cut Pro. Oh, okay, cool. It's kind of
You'd be surprised, how nerdy it can become when 2 pilot YouTubers get together to talk about things.
Yeah, because we're talking about something that we're both amateurs at in a lot of ways. Editing videos and things are not what we went to school with and been doing for so many years. So yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah. Do you think there'll be another supersonic plane to aid routes such as like Heathrow, Sydney, JFK to Sydney, etc.? I've talked about this before. I do think that we'll see more supersonic aircraft, providing that legislation lets it happen. But I do think that that's mostly going to be private jets, to be honest, because they have the money. It's not inhibitive.
Right. The fuel costs that are involved for making a supersonic jet, and for the amount of people that you can put into that aircraft, the tickets would be astronomical. So yeah, I think you're probably right. You might have more private aircraft because those people, time is that valuable to them that they may do it.
Yeah. Do you have well, we're going to talk about that actually in one of my videos. I'm not going to even take that up. The Tiller question. Right. So how did you get used? How long did it take for you to get used to the height of the flight deck in the 747?
For me, it actually didn't take too long. I'd say maybe a couple months. I'd say. And the thing is when you're on the 747, you're not flying it that much. So the hardest thing is getting used to the height, but also the length when you're taxiing, because on my aircraft we taxi from the right side as well as the left side. So figuring that stuff out, I'd say a couple of months, probably got used to it. And the main thing is that on landing, that my first several landings happened to be at night, which are actually great because you can't see the ground. One of the first landings that I did in the daytime, I was listening to the countdown, and instead of looking out at the end of the runway, which is something you get taught at the very beginning of flight school, I looked down off the nose, and it might have said 30, and we were probably like 60-something feet in the air, and I was like, oh no, this can't be right. And it was like 10, and I was like, we're still 60 feet in the air. That can't be right. But so yeah, that one time that I did that, and the landing actually worked out okay. But I was like, that's why you're supposed to look at the end of the runway.
Very cool. Okay, so Sam is saying hello from Virginia. Guys, that's it. I'm gonna have to drop him off at the train station in like half an hour. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic Friday as always. There will be a new video. I still haven't decided on which tonight, and I guess you'll be releasing on Sunday.
Probably Sunday, yeah. I'm actually doing the video about how I got out here.
So it will be interesting, but yeah, the patching.
Yeah,
it's a bit twitchy. Cool. So that's it, guys. Stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy this. I'm going to try to do more. This is kind of what the app is all about, trying to get more aviation stuff out into the public domain. So take care of yourselves, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much for coming. I really appreciate you, and Peter, thanks so much for having me on your channel.
Perfect. See you guys.
Bye.
Perfect.